Yo, if you fucking with sports, culture, and hip hop, make sure you connect the dots with Big Lou Ice Water. You are ready.
Yo, peace. It's your man Hakeem Allah, aka Aksdalite, and I'm representing for my man Duquan Hicks, aka Louis Icewater. Yo, make sure you check out Connect the Dots and also the Hip Hop Barbershop. Peace.
Feeling, man.
I'm feeling great, man. I feel great to be, on another monthly episode of Connect the Dots featuring Ox the Light of the Willie Bobo Show. And I'd like to thank you, man, for giving me the opportunity, to check out your brain when it comes to what we share the love of hip hop.
Man, first of all, I want to say thank you for coming on. I'm loving your merch. I'm gonna get some sweatsuits. I love your sweatsuit game. It's on point. And
Hey,
like I
man,
said,
thank
we're
you.
doing something different today. So go ahead, man. Let's do it, brother.
All right, cool. We're going to jump right into this, God. So here we go. I want to talk about the global shift, right? Since
Mhm.
you've been around, and of course, as we know eloquently as the birthplace of hip hop, Bronx, New York, right?
Right. Right.
So you saw this start, basically on a single block in the Bronx. How does it feel when you see hip hop culture being the dominant places, the dominant force, excuse me, in places like Tokyo, Paris, even Johannesburg? Does it feel like it's still home to you?
That's a good question, man. To me, first of all, I'm just glad that they are all, that they are in all these places, number one. Because I
Right.
think when you talk about overseas, they really love hip hop. They love the culture more than Americans do. And people don't bite me, but it's for real. They love the culture more
Yeah, they
than what
do.
we used to love the culture. And then number
Mhm.
two, I love it, man. It's like as long as they are respectful about it and they understand the history of it, yo, I'm all in. How you feel?
I kind of have a dual edged feeling about it, right? And the only reason why I have that dual edged feeling about it is simply because of culture vultures.
Okay.
That's my only thing, right? Because you have those out there that, for example, when it comes down to social issues, if there were certain individuals, Marshall Mathers,
All
that would
right.
speak up, okay, instead of, I know he wrote a diss song about Trump, but what about actually standing up during these civil rights issues, right?
Right.
So
Right.
DJ Khaled, that's another one, right?
Oh yes.
If you look at K-pop, right? Okay, it's fun or whatever have you, but you have Asians now perming their hair in order to look kinky, right? But at the
Hmm.
same time, they don't want anything to do with us. So of course, I mean, it just goes back to the old adage that everybody want to be in the, but don't nobody want to be in the. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So, that's just my opinion on it, man. Um, I'm sorry to see it get out of our hands. I'm glad to see it blow up, but I'm sorry to see it get out of our hands because it should have never left our hands,
Mm.
right?
Me.
Um, the missing ingredient. So technology has changed everything from how we make beats to how we wear them, right?
Hmm.
Um, to how we hear them, excuse me. So looking back at the 70s, is there a specific feeling or a raw element from those early days that you think has been lost in the modern digital era of hip hop?
Yes. It's the soul. You know what I mean? The
Mm,
soul, the soulful, the soul tree of music. Everything is so computer washed down. And don't get me wrong, some beats are all right, but there's no soul. There's no love feeling. There's no type of connection. Like when we was coming up, we heard songs and it was a connection. It made us feel
mhm.
like, yo, I'm feeling it. Even in the 70s, there's songs that like Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, Diana Ross, The Supremes. They had songs that, that made us feel. Teddy Pendergrass, you know what I'm saying? And the Blue Notes. They had songs that made us be like, yo, I feel that. Nowadays, I don't feel that with hip hop. I love hip hop, but I don't feel that connection to where it's like, next, next, let me pass forward, next. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it, but that's just how I feel. I love music that touches me mentally, physically, spiritually. And if it doesn't do those three, then I can't connect with that. You know what I mean? How do you
I
feel, man?
fully agree. I fully agree. The frequency has completely changed, right?
Right.
So to build on what you were just talking about these older groups, if you think about it, it never left us because, of course, our parents played that music, but at the same time, we sampled that music,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Hmm.
we stayed in tune with James Brown, especially, right?
Yes.
We stayed in tune, with Teddy Pendergrass. We stayed in tune with the Isley Brothers and so on because we dug in those crates and people said it wasn't art, right? How do you say that's not art? Because you're going into something not knowing what you're going to come out with, but then you put it together and then you make it make sense.
Right.
Because art is up for interpretation, is it not?
Right.
So of course it was
Facts.
art. So that's yeah, that's me on that. The commercial crossroads.
Ah,
Hip hop is a $1 billion industry now. Do you think the hustle of the 70s, and of course, just trying to get the party started, that's what it was all about, has been overshadowed by the business, or is it the spirit of the Bronx still alive in the way that the artists grind today?
that's a good question. I think it's 70-30. I think it's
Hmm.
more business than the grind of today because nowadays kids don't know what it's like to, go record shopping or crate digging, looking for samples, looking for music to sample because everything is on their phones, everything is on their computers. So
Yeah,
they don't know, they
yeah,
don't have that feeling to actually go into a record store, talk to the owner and be like, yo, what is this? And the owner play like a minute of it so you can get the feeling of that. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what it's like
right.
to break open a record or an album and look at the cover, read the credits, look at the artwork on it. They don't know about stuff like that. So nowadays, all
True.
they know about is, oh, I can make money doing this. Oh, I can make money doing this. So now, when you look at hip hop, it's more about popularity than
Hmm.
anything. And if it's not making money, that's why a lot of young kids are not even really into it like they were like 5 or 6 years ago. I'll give you an example. Remember when people would ride in their cars, they would do that two snap thing, you know what I mean, and do them little dances. You don't even see them kids do that anymore because those kids grew up. You know what I'm saying? As those kids grew up, it's like, you know what? That was cool back then, but what's cool now? But a lot of these young cats, they in it for the money. They not in it for how we was in it
Hmm.
at first. We just
Hmm.
wanted to be
Hmm.
heard at first. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then the money came, but it was all about just being heard on the radio. That was just, yo, my record got played on the radio. It wasn't even about getting paid. It was like, yo, my record got played on the radio. That's what it was like for us, especially in the Bronx and in New York City. But you tell me, you know, in your terms, how you feel about it, man.
I miss the days of being on a street team.
Mm,
Okay. To me,
hmm.
that was mad fun. Okay.
Right.
Um, I do miss Saturday mornings lining up at a record shop, trying to dig out something incredible to build on, or just trying to trade, you know what I mean? To get
Right.
ready for the next show.
Right.
Um, here's what I don't miss being the MC that had to help carry the crates and the speakers.
Exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
miss that one bit whatsoever.
Hmm.
Um, I don't miss having to break it back down, having to keep up with what record came out of where, coming around Sunday and having to rearrange and organize things and put it back. I don't miss that part.
Right. Right.
But I do think that with the popularity contest the way that it is, because, like Chris said, not relying on talent, just marketing and promotion,
That's
right?
right. Hmm.
I think that that is now at an all-time high, especially with the onset of people being able to make it happen themselves. You
Right.
have so many platforms out there that as to which they can just build everything themselves. There's no appreciation for the music because if you have to grind for something, you appreciate it more, right?
Right.
There's no more having to travel city to city. Let's not even say city to city, going from block to block and
Right.
knocking off the best MC. You know,
Yes, I miss
um,
those days.
right, and waiting for somebody to come from out of town, so you could just wreck them too. That's the way that you earned your stripes. That's the way you got your rep. That's the way that, people were like, man, I got to put him on. Right.
I mean,
But now, I mean, you look at it like this, man, and I hate to say it, you don't know who's writing what because cats are now
oh
using
my
AI to
God.
write songs. So it's like there's no more ingenuity, creativity. Not everyone, okay, let's make this clear. We know not everyone is like that. But for a
Right.
vast majority, I agree with your percentage of 70-30. It's like that, right?
Yeah. Phew.
The lyricism gap. Okay, this next question, the lyricism gap.
Right.
In the beginning, the MC was there to command the crowd and tell a story. When you listen to the charts today, do you feel like the art of the storyteller is still the heartbeat of the music, or has it shifted into something that you really don't recognize?
I think it's, something I don't recognize more than, the storytelling part. Because, like you said, we don't know who's writing who. You know what I'm saying? So even your favorite rappers, now you're starting to realize they had ghostwriters. So it's kind of like an asterisk towards their name. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, the love is gone. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
love is gone. So when there's no love, nothing is not going to sound the same without the love. You know what I mean? That's just
Hmm.
like, for example, you used to dance, and I don't know if you still do, but you used to be one of the best dancers I've ever seen back in the
Of course I
90s.
do.
You know what I'm saying? And
Still
then we
do.
used to go to clubs and you would dance, I would dance, and we would do whatever. You know what I'm saying? And people be like,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
why they
yeah.
dancing like that? So you did it for the love. It wasn't for the attention. This is what you love to do. Me, same thing with me
Thanks.
with the beatboxing. I used to, love battling cats because that's what I did. Then we both used to rhyme
Indeed.
and freestyle because we did it for the love. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But my thing is nowadays, you don't have that. You might see bits and pieces. You might see people on the number one train, everybody doing ciphers on the, number one train or a cipher here and there, but it's still not the same. And like I said on one of my shows, hip hop has less than 20 years to go. People be laughing
Mm.
at me, but I'm telling you, the way that it is, less than 20 years left for real.
Wow. I feel
Yes.
that. Scarily, I feel that. And
Yes.
I never thought of it that way because I never thought I would see my culture dissipate after it
Right.
took so much to get it recognized, right?
Mm. Right.
But yeah, you're right because other genres of music gatekeep us big time.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
We are the culture that always allows someone to come in because for some reason we love it when somebody imitates us because now you down with us. You know what I mean?
Right. Hmm.
But then you wind up getting played in the end with it. Justin Timberlake,
Oh
Pink,
yeah. Hmm.
Mariah Carey. Okay. So, I mean, the list goes on and on. But always imitated, never duplicated.
That's true. That's true.
Um,
Facts.
so let's talk about the responsibility of the roots, not the group. Okay.
Mm.
As someone who witnessed the Big Bang firsthand, do you feel a sense of responsibility to keep the history alive for the younger generation? Or do you think the culture should keep changing, even if it moves away from its origins?
No, I think that we should still try to, teach the culture. It's like I taught my daughters, what I'm saying? I have a daughter that's 30 years old and she don't listen to nothing new. She listened to the stuff that I played in the car because I was like, look, trust me, this is the start of hip hop and this is how it's going to be. So that's all she listened to. She could tell you about Tribe Called Quest or anything. She 30. She don't listen to this new stuff. You know what I mean? But I think that we should just keep continuing to teach them. But it's up to the kids to want to learn, want to know. Because my thing is, even if you sample music now, you still have to learn where that music came from. Even if you remake songs from the 90s or whatever, you still have to know where it came from. And then once you learn where it came from, play it. See exactly, that's just like LL Cool J, what he does with the sample. I love when he does that. You know, play the sample and all that stuff. I think a lot of kids, they need to play the samples of the music they got now, see where it came from, then maybe they can appreciate it more. And then start listening to some old school artists and see, because I hate the comment that this young generation said about the Sugar Hill Gang. They had whack lyrics, they had whack bars, but they don't understand that this was the first rap song on the radio that got radio play. Regardless of what it is, it was the first song that got radio play for y'all to be who y'all at now. It wasn't about the
Word.
bars, it was about breaking through the system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how I feel about that. I think that me and you, and the OGs, it's up to us to let these kids know that, look, this is hip hop. This is how it sounded. This is where it came from. This is how it's going to be. This is what you should do. Not saying that, what I'm saying, that you're going to do what you want to do, but still, I think I think that we have to teach them. They should understand hip hop in all forms, not just the MCing, not just the beat making, the breakdancing. They need to learn every form of hip hop. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Because a
Yeah,
lot of
man.
cats, they
Yeah.
they only limited to one thing. These new cats, they just know how to rhyme, but they don't know how to make beats. They don't know how to beatbox. They don't know how to DJ. They don't know how to do a lot of graffiti. Most of us, we know how to do 4 or 5 things of hip hop because, we was born into it.
Yes. Yes.
How you
I
feel?
think that also the responsibility. Okay, for example, I'm gonna build on what you just talked about the young cats saying what they say. They tell us to dress our age. Well,
Right.
this is how we grew up wearing our clothes. So
That's
we
right.
are dressing our age. For us to, what did you expect me to do? Just start wearing, khakis? I mean, I got to go to work in those. So when I come out of there, I'm hoodies, jeans, Timbs, fitteds. I mean, this is what
Right.
we did. So
That's
yes, I'm
right.
I'm dressing my age. If I'm riding around, bumping, sitting on chrome, I'm listening to my age, and I also think that our generation, Generation X is what we were called. We were just built differently because we enjoyed life. Because you
Right.
think about it, I think that psychologically we saw so much death with crack, with AIDS, with gangs, with poverty, right? That just being alive, I think, was appreciated more when we were
Right.
kids.
Mm.
I think
Agree.
that even though I think, because people say, well, the internet has made everything more seen, we
Mm.
saw it right
Right.
here. Okay,
Exactly.
this is going down
Exactly.
right. I didn't see it on screen. Okay, little white kid in Nebraska. I didn't see it on screen. I saw it. Okay, so I think that when they see it on screen, it affects them in ways in which it really didn't affect us. It was commonplace. Hey, it's what it is, right?
That's right.
But
That's right.
for them, it's oh, now it makes me depressed, and now I write these depressing lyrics, and everything in my life is, oh, I went through the struggle and so on. Okay, I understand. Everybody has that story, but at least make it interesting. Because what
Exactly.
I notice now is that everybody's got the same rhyme scheme. It's the same. Everybody's it comes in the same. Cadence is the same. Word choices are the same. You're boring me. Okay,
Exactly.
that's
You're
not being
right.
responsible to the art of lyricism. It's no longer there. Okay, so therefore the lyricists get shunned, right? You're not selling, so therefore you're not relevant.
Mm.
You know. Final question, Duke.
Wow. Okay.
The full circle moment. If you could go back and tell your 1973 self that this neighborhood secret would eventually change the world, would that kid believe you? And what would he be most proud of regarding how far it's come?
Well, first of all, that kid, I don't think he would have believed me. You know what I mean? Because we didn't know where this was going to go. We didn't know how it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? We just thought it was something to do because really it took away from the gang banging that we had in New York City. A lot of people don't understand. We always had gangs in New York, way before Cali, way before all that. It's just they were called the Black Spades and the Warriors. We had different gangs. It's just that, we did it differently. We didn't call it gang bang. It was just like, block versus block. You know what I'm saying? Turf versus turf. But as far as the music came in, thanks to Africa Bambaataa, he was the one that revolutionized. Look, let's get these gangs off the street. Let's have them in a center, and let's let them start listening to music. You know what I mean? So African Bambaataa, I want to thank him because he was the one that actually got them off the streets, so they can do what they need to do, as far as not gangbang, not rob and steal. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank him for that. Everybody thinks Cool Herc. I thank him for the music, but I thank Bambaataa for keeping the kids in one piece and keeping them straight. But also, let's talk about now. So now you asked me, what was the second part of that question again? I just want to be clear.
Yeah. The second part was basically asking about, how you see it going forward in the future. Do you feel positively about what you see going forward in the future of hip hop as a culture?
Yes and no, because there are a few artists out there that I really like. You know what I'm saying? That is carrying a tradition, but it's maybe 10% out of 100. You know what I'm saying? 90% of it to me, it's like trash, it's garbage. Like you said, no cadence, no flow, nothing special. Everything is a gimmick. It's all about the hook. It's all about the beat, but nobody is saying nothing that you be like, even, and I'm gonna take it even further. Even some of the old school guys, not all of them, but some of the old school guys are still trying to use that same remedy for now. And it's like, nah, come on, man. This was 2026. It's time for you to
Yeah.
step it up another notch too. So it ain't just the youngins. You know what I mean? It's a couple of old school artists. You be like, you have to look like, wow, okay. You know what I mean? My thing is this, and like I told cats, Afro beats is taking over. You know what I'm saying? Afro beats taking over.
Long
K-pop,
time ago.
yeah, K-pop is taking over. Reggaeton is taking over. Those three right there are taking over. And I'm telling you, and they're very cultural wise throughout the whole world. And right now, there's no new artist that's young right now that's gonna captivate everybody's minds to listen. Now they're the underground cats. You see what I'm saying? Now Ti song came out, everybody's feeling Ti song, but it's not a record that's like, you know what I mean? It's a catchy record, but it's for to me, it's not a record that I'm gonna be like, yo, I gotta buy his album. I don't feel that with him. You know what I mean? Like when we was coming out, we heard a song, we was like, yo, I'm gonna get his album. You know what I mean? It ain't like that. I'm not feeling it to where I like, you know what, I gotta check his album out. I don't feel that. And there's no disrespect to T.I. because I love T.I. I love his records. But I'm just saying for me, I have to have a certain type of feel for me to be like, okay, let me check the rest of it out. If I don't have that certain type of feel, no matter what region you in, it doesn't matter, New York, Cali, whatever. If I don't feel you, I'm not gonna sit here and be like yada yada yada. Like I said, there's a few cats that I listen to that is dope. Every time I hear them, I'll be like, yo, like the Sky Zoos, the Reef Hustles. These are cats that are very underground, but I like them because they have a format. They switch their beats up and they still talk about what's going on today. They relevant. They got a cadence. They got a style that I love. Those two guys, they don't. And I want to put Joey Badass in there too because I like Joey Badass. And I want to thank my daughter for that because she put me up on Joey Badass. I was like, who's that? Way back then. And I was like, yo, I'm feeling him. You know what I mean? So it's just certain cats for me, I feel like the game is in good hands, but 90% of the game, you be like, you just have to shake your head like, damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is not going to last. Look at R&B. You see R&B is going,
Where
right?
yeah, I was going to ask, where is R&B?
Right. So I
It's pretty
think the
much
same
dead.
thing is going to happen with hip hop. Because once the older generation, which is us, once we don't do it no more, who do they look up to take the torch to the next level? Who?
Right. Right.
So how do you
And
feel
I'm
about
glad you
that,
said
man?
that. So I'm gonna build on what you just alluded to, that if we don't do it right, so even though, yeah, you're so correct, because I hear some older artists, man, that are coming back out, and it's like you sounded, in '88. That's not gonna
Right,
work. You know what I mean?
right,
Um, but at the same time, it's like these young dudes are like, yo, you're too old to make music. Well, you're
right,
boring me. So I'd rather make music that sounds like something I'm interested in than listen to the
right.
boring music that you're putting out in front of me. You
Mm.
know,
Being
you don't give me anything insightful. You don't give me anything provocative. You don't give me anything to be like, yo, what'd he say? Let's
exactly.
rewind that. Okay.
Yes,
Um,
that's what we grew up
I
on.
don't
What did he say?
right. What'd he say?
Right.
Um, so I would like to say that every day for the real MCs, we should listen to OC
Mm.
every day. We
Yes.
should listen to Dead Prez
Okay.
every day. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because, well, hip hop, right? The Dead Prez joint.
Hmm.
And for the liars, for the garbage people, just to hear OC say that you lack the minerals and vitamins, ions and the niacinamide,
Mm.
who did I offend? You know what I mean? Like, come
Yes.
on, like these. It's amazing how that song has resonated to now, and it's more pertinent now than ever before. It's amazing how Dead Prez song hip hop is more prevalent than ever before, and it's needed. So to all of my older MCs out there, don't stop doing what you're doing. Just find a different way to change it up, because these
Yes.
kids have to listen to you in a way that you have to learn how to speak their language. If you don't speak their language, you're not going to reach them. And that's just something
True.
that we all have to learn how to do. We came from the Jordan era, where when you can't fly over everybody anymore, you got to go to your post game.
That's right.
Big
I
up.
like that. I like that analogy. I like that.
Thank you, fam. So, my
Yes.
mans, where can we
Yes.
catch the next episode of Connect the Dots?
Well, that's a good question. It should be a next episode next week. And it's gonna, I can't tell you who, where, what, or why. There's two episodes I'm dropping next week sometime. So I can't tell you, who it is and what it is, because there's two things that's happening that's special on both of these shows. That's all I have to say. And I'm just glad to still be here, man. Like, and I'm gonna ask you when we gonna catch the next episode of Willie Bobo, because I'll be watching your show.
Okay, that's
Yes, you
love,
be
man.
dropping
So,
some.
now that I
Yeah.
got my technical issues resolved,
Okay. Yes.
so we're gonna be diving deep into this Sweet 16 coming up on the next episode of the Willie Bobo Show. We're also going to touch a little bit on what's going on in Iran.
Oh
That's
yes.
going to be
I
deep,
gotta check
you
that
know.
out. Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to also talk about how it is that we're walking blind while we're being led to the slaughter.
Mm,
We're not getting it as a people.
yes. Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
See, that's what I'm talking about. If you have not checked his show out, America, it's the Willie Bobo Show. I'm telling you, you're gonna like it. It's authentic. This dude is for real. Aksdalite is his name. Look him up. It's the Willie Bobo Show. I'm telling you, check it out. I watch every episode that come out. I watch it not because he my homeboy, because I like the content. I love the material as well, yo. I love what you're doing, man,
thank you,
and I
God.
love
I
your Willie
appreciate you,
wear
man.
too. The Willie wear is
Thanks, man.
bananas, no
Thanks,
doubt.
man. Thanks, man. You know what I'm saying? That's pride to me. And make sure you check out Connect the Dots. Like my man's got the same thing going on that I do. Don't let him fool you. He's on the same tip. Also, him and him and Octa Barber, they have a wonderful podcast themselves. Yo, and also make sure you follow his brother DJ Shakim, who's still doing big things all over the place, man. And
Yes, yes.
also that LHJR. Yo, if you like to really wear the LHJR's got the same message, man. We're both about and for the people. Also, connect the dots. Those are dope joints. You've seen me wear those on certain episodes of the Willie Bobo Show. Make sure you get at my man. He can definitely custom tailor something for you the same way that I can, man. Duke, we get some shout outs for
Yes.
your people, then we got to go.
Yes. Well, I'm going to shout out a few people. First, I want to shout you out for coming through. I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Big up.
Shout out to everybody from the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the five boroughs, Long Island, all my peoples and family from PA. I want to shout you out. I want to shout out my man, you know what I'm saying, Big Docs out there in Cali. Also want to shout out my nephews and my nieces because, you know, I got to be a better uncle, which I'm going to be. You know what I'm saying? And I also, you know what I'm saying,
Got
for
it.
real. And I also want to shout out everybody who's been watching and all my subscribers out there, man. Love y'all. Thank you. Thank you so much because without y'all, there's no me. For real. Thank you.
Big up, props and respect to that. And the same thing goes from Aksdalite to all of my followers at the Willie Bobo Show. You guys, if you would like to be a guest on either one of our shows, please
Yes.
drop a comment, get at us, you know what I'm saying? Let us know what you'd like to talk about because we love talking to genuine people about genuine things because we are genuine articles ourselves. Aksdalite, Duquan Hicks. Peace.
Peace.